You say we still have a big opportunity to front run this. Do you think that there's like big money accumulating in stealth right now? And if so, like who?
Well, maybe the question would be easier, who not?
Billionaires and ultra-wealthy millionaires are secretly and strategically buying up Bitcoin behind the scenes, at least according to entrepreneur and investor Gary Cardone, who reveals so much about billionaire mindset in this interview.
You know, when I tell my brother, hey, Grant, I'm trying to get 1,000 Bitcoin personally, not in his corporate veil, but like me personally, he immediately goes, shit, I need 3,000 or 4,000 if Gary's going to buy 1,000. This is what really rich people do. Okay. I don't know. Look, it's just what they do.
We talk all about Bitcoin and crypto, including future outlook. So smash the like button, share this video everywhere. This interview really reveals how the ultra wealthy think about Bitcoin and crypto. Listen.
Gary Cardone, the last time that you were here on Altcoin Daily was May 2024. Bitcoin's price at the time was less than $60,000. Now, you came on our show and you told us buy as much Bitcoin as you can because by end of year, Bitcoin's price, in your opinion at that time, was Bitcoin's price is about to explode. Now, that's exactly what happened, it seems. It nearly doubled. So I guess the question is, how do you feel about Bitcoin today? Is there still opportunity here?
The greatest front running opportunity in the history of mankind. It's been, you've had 15 years to front run this thing. And I think I've been spending a lot of time, Aaron, with people that have been around a lot longer than I have, like since the beginning. And I think should actually open up a psychological counseling center for all OGs. It would be an awesome business and I'd help so many people. I think there is we're just getting started here. Okay, I know people that have been around a long time can look at this and look at 107, 104, whatever the price is right now. But in reality, this is a $2 trillion market that is so tiny. It is literally just building muscles on the greatest skeletor that's ever been built. And it's just developing muscles now. So I would say the same thing I said at 60 and 57 and 32. This is a monster front running opportunity. If you just understand how long it takes people to really make these kind of decisions and move into it full force, you will see particular behavioral patterns from people. Like my brother, watch him beast into this thing. Now that he's got it, he's been pitched the product correctly. He got a little taste of it. I didn't shame him over the first taste he took. Now, like he's really coming into Bitcoin. It doesn't matter what he did 3 years ago. He got some Bitcoin given to him. Now he's deploying real capital at 100 grand. His allocations are immediately changing because he's using it and he's seeing the reaction from his customer base. And it is these people. Remember, he is not an institution. Grant and I don't have any advisors whatsoever. Like none, zero. We don't listen to anybody about what we're going to do. We just kind of trust ourselves. And that shortens the lead time to make decisions. When you have to go to advisors, lawyers, boards. So that's what we're seeing here, okay? We're seeing more first movers. So I think you have to just get away from knowing what you know from the last 12 years and think about this in a new unit of time.
And you're kind of saying that it's a process, like this big snowball rolling down a hill, picking up momentum, that not everybody could onboard last year or this year, but it's slowly more and more people are coming into this. And that's how it works.
Yeah. And that is good. I actually think it's really, when the ETFs came along, I was able to look out with some of the other ETF builder providers and go, oh, wow, it's going to take family offices 9 months to make a decision. Right now, even the people that don't want Bitcoin today, they've looked at it. Oh, nice one. Nice one. 2 paintings just got destroyed. Even the people that are naysayers, there are no more naysayers to Bitcoin. There are maybe people that say, I'm not going to buy Bitcoin. But even the people that are saying, I'm not going to buy it, are no longer poo-pooing it. That's a big deal, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big deal when you don't have the poo-pooers, right? So the negative Nancy's, there's just no real justification for fighting this any longer. And I appreciate that it's really hard to understand that you're still front running this. It's very unusual we would have a front running opportunity. I mean, I've had one for 4 years. Like, I chose not to come in here in 16. It was dangerous, man. It was scary as shit to me. It was immature. It was immature. You know, I was with Charlie Shrem about a week ago, and I actually used the word. I said, look, it was part coin and part society. It was a club, man. Bitcoin was a club. It was a little founders. When I said coin society, he was like, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it was. This is now Wall Street, man. This is every bank, every financial player on planet Earth is looking at this North Star that during your lifetime, you and your brother's lifetime, you've never had a stable North Star. The dollar was the only thing, and it's been jigged with, mig with, tinkered with, toyed with, diluted. But now you have one light that keeps shining brighter and brighter and brighter, and it's stable. And so it's just everyone's going to see this light. You can't, like, now you have a barometer to test something else up against. You only need a few of my brothers to do $1 billion worth of real estate, and all of a sudden he's the most successful real estate, multi-dwelling real estate guy. People on Wall Street pay attention, and they're going to do this on insurance. Insurance will be bigger than real estate. I mean, imagine you getting your Bitcoin, you know, like if I was 20 years younger, dude, I'd start 10 businesses. Health insurance on Bitcoin. Like you'll never pay premiums for the rest of your life. I have a term policy I've paid since I was 18 years old. It's going to pay me out 50 grand. That's ridiculous. You know, 50 grand over 50 years. Come on, that's dumb. My mom gave me that as a present because she was worried about everybody dying in the family. She should, if she would have granted me Bitcoin, imagine that. Bitcoin would self-fund someone's health insurance for over 40 or 50 years. That's a beautiful program. You don't have to pay annuities forever, post-tax dollars. It's sorry to go on so long, but I just think that people really, 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 really do underestimate what we're doing here.
It sounds like, you know, this is year two basically of Wall Street being involved, and year two better than year one, year three probably better than year two. But unlike 2024, when you first came on this channel, you know, it's more, I think there's more catalysts than just the Wall Street story and the ETF story at this time. Because, you know, today we still have Wall Street. We also have the US becoming crypto friendly. We have sovereign wealth adoption. We have dozens of different public companies implementing the Michael Saylor strategy. What do you think is the biggest catalyst today out of those things that will inevitably send Bitcoin higher?
I think the geopolitical tensions all over the world is what's going to drive this higher, actually. I think we're going to look back on this and think, oh, wow, if Trump would have gotten in office in 2020, when 2020, Bitcoin would not be in the position it's in today. Like him losing in 2020, losing, then Bitcoin going through its weird ETF, Warren, Elizabeth Warren, everybody's going to kill the Bitcoiners. That was such an egregious, over enforcing regulator, out of control, fascist policy that I think everybody woke up and went, hey, these guys are out of control, right? So now Trump gets into office. He literally has removed all the regulatory issues that were here 2 years ago, dude. We were freaking out about the regulatory lack of clarity, and you couldn't have more clarity today than you have. In fact, I would say it's moving a little too fast at this point. Not too fast, but it most certainly has accelerated 6 years. But I think you couldn't ask for a more conducive environment geopolitically for Bitcoin to be proven. We're now max 3 years away from seeing Bitcoin really take on the world stage and fill a true problem, which is sovereignty, people worried about crossing borders, people worried about territories capturing their income, capturing their wealth. We have a poly market now, not a global market. We have poly market, multiple markets. It is awesome to have a neutral anything when you have a poly market. That's why hubs work. That's why centralization is so cool, because you need some Switzerland. I think Bitcoin becomes the Switzerland of the world. That's where I see this headed. In fact, I could see, if we could get the politicians out the way, we could actually have a sovereign state that's one of virtual nature, of policy and Bill of Rights and constitutions. That's way down the road, right? But we have the Swiss bank going to zero. The Fed's completely out of control. Anything they say about the Fed, it's literally a joke, because he has zero ability to do anything. Like, he can't keep the Europeans from lowering rates. Right. So you're going to have all these arbitrages between our rates and their rates. I mean, I don't know how many times we have to go through this, but the true arbitrage is BTC. It's the greatest arbitrage in the history of mankind.
So, you're bullish on Bitcoin with the Wall Street story. You're bullish on Bitcoin with the US becoming crypto friendly story. And you're bullish on Bitcoin in the kind of this global macro neutral asset story. Yet Bitcoin is still low 100K today. And you say we still have a big opportunity to front run this. Do you think that there's like big money accumulating in stealth right now? And if so, like who?
Well, maybe the question would be easier. Who not? Look, I don't think, when I tell my brother, hey, Grant, I'm trying to get 1,000 Bitcoin personally. No, not in his corporate veil, but like me personally. He immediately goes, shit, I need 3,000 or 4,000 if Gary's going to buy 1,000. This is what really rich people do. Okay, I don't know. Look, it's just what they do, and so there's 3,500 billionaires on the planet. I think there's less than 30 billionaires in Bitcoin. Let's say there's 300 billionaires in Bitcoin. The average billionaire is worth $5.4 billion. If only 300 are in, what are the other 3,200 freaks going to do? Okay, that have more yachts and Rolex watches and Richard Malays and Nike tennis shoes and Trump shoes and anything else that's a one of a kind, Picasso's. Plane, my brother's going to buy another $80 million plane. That's 1,000 Bitcoin, dude. I mean, so I don't think people really understand that I don't buy 0.1 Bitcoin at a time, man. Like, my brother's going to buy 15, 20, 100 Bitcoin at a time. I've bought 100 Bitcoin at a time. Not at these numbers, it's 60 grand. So, I mean, you're going to see people pop in here and go, I'll take 1,000. Because 1,000 for them is what, $108 million. I mean, it's 3% of their total portfolio. If it goes to zero, they're cool. If it goes batshit crazy, like I think it's going to be, they're going to be like monsters. And monsters love to be bigger monsters.
And you talk about it from the billionaire perspective, and even on the, the millionaire perspective. There are tons of millionaires in the world, and only 21.
62 million.
Exactly. And, plenty of people are coming around to Bitcoin nowadays and thinking, wow, I at least need 1 Bitcoin, or at least need 100 Bitcoin, or whatever the number is. So you've alluded to this, but like, and people say this, that Bitcoin is going through a supply shock. There isn't enough Bitcoin to go around. Do you agree with this? And explain to us this supply shock that's happening.
Well, I don't think there's a supply shock. First off, no one's woke up one morning and said they can't buy Bitcoin. This thing about Bitcoin running out, like, that is just really, 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 really dumb and ignorant. No offense to anyone, but price, this is why technology number go up is so important. And I've said this from the very beginning, irritated quite a few people. Love the peace and love and harmony of Bitcoin. However, if price does not go up, it gets no one's attention. Okay. It's a little bit like, hey, how long can you get up and stay up and perform? I mean, it's, there's some analogies you could use for prospering and creating, where those are important, right? So now we have 15 years of this thing just like holding, dude. Like it's been in every Olympic. I like to think of it as an athlete that's never failed. Okay. And like it's just been invited to every Olympian event in the history, like in every one of them. It doesn't matter if it's rowing or shooting guns or lifting weights. Bitcoin is going, I'm going to go to every gym, whether it's bonds, equities. You get my point, right? The analogy. Wow, that's pretty cool. The energy sector can only compete in one sector. Bitcoin's going to play in every freaking gym on the planet, every private country club where all the rich people go. You and I will never be invited to. Bitcoin has been given a lifetime membership. The ETFs was the lifetime membership. Okay, like that's never happened before. A 16-year-old is invited to every private country club on planet Earth, the richest people in the world. Now, if that one thesis doesn't get you jacked up and excited, because if you think about it, no other industry or product has ever been invited to every private country club. And these people are going to compete with each other, talk to each other on the golf course. By the way, they'll pay $1 million just to attend a year. That's the entry fee. So what's driving it is a system that is breaking down really badly, Aaron. And I think that's why people are gravitating toward Bitcoin, is the system is really getting heavy now.
Well, I'm surprised to hear
The
you
old
say
system.
the whole system. I'm surprised to hear you say that you wouldn't categorize this as like a brewing supply shock coming, because there is the fixed amount, and it seems like more and more people are going to be interested. And there's, I'm not willing to sell my Bitcoin at 100K. I think a lot, that supply is drying up, so that, the price is going to have to go up.
The price is going to go up until you have somebody not selling 103.221 right now. Right now, it's getting bashed, man. Okay, big volume, someone's selling, probably a wife back there, going, hey, look, I don't want to do this again. I don't want to go through this 4-year cycle. I mean, these people have $300 Bitcoin, man. Ever since I came into this space, I always ask people, I won't do this to you in public, but I always ask people, hey, what's your cost base? And I have been staggered that there's a cost base. There's me, I think I'm 45,000-ish. Okay. And then there's everybody before me, $3,000 or below. Mm-hmm. That is a mistake, dude. That is a big, 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 big mistake. Those prices had gone up for a long. My average cost should be going up.
Because you should keep buying, you're saying, keep cost average.
Yeah, totally, dude. Because if you bought it at $300 and you stop really believing the thesis. I don't care how, but I already have enough. You never have enough of the most rare thing on the planet. Chamath owned 5% of the entire stock of Bitcoin, 5%, $300 cost base. He was so clever, and I'm not making fun of him. I'm making fun of everybody, okay? No one can get Bitcoin. He was so clever, he sold every bit of it and then did some SPACs and ruined his reputation. Didn't ruin it, but he didn't help it. If he would have kept his Bitcoin and just been Chilly Willy and taking his kids all over the world, he would be sitting in the White House right now with David Sachs.
He could be the Michael Saylor.
Bruh. See my point, though? Like, everyone is missing this. Everyone is missing the opportunity here. The 100 grand is not important. It's the 2 trillion. The 2 trillion has made it safe, man. You can't say that about ETH. You cannot say that about XRP. You can't say it about anything else, because no reserve, federal or state, is going to put anything other than Bitcoin on its reserve. Never. They're not big enough, right? Risk management is going to go, no. Our covenants requires a $500 billion industry. Nothing qualifies. And it's going to get worse, because to your point, all these derivative Wall Street products have become the alt market of the 2025. The alts are going to get absolutely slaughtered. It's so sad to watch these people still holding on to this, and they're not entertaining. Wow, you just had everybody and their brother from Wall Street walk in, dude. There's no rugs on that. GME might go up and down 20%, but it's not going to get completely rugged.
Well, let me get your, as long as you bring it up, let me get your thoughts on the broader crypto market because, I mean, let's be real. Bitcoin has sucked up the capital like a dry sponge over the last year. Yet, like the Larry Finks, the Kathy Woods, the Matt Hogans of Bitwise, they're still saying that, Ethereum's got value, Solana's got value, or whatever it is. Eventually, there might be another crypto asset that hits 2 trillion and, gets, in different ways gets valued. Do you think that will happen, or kind of what are your thoughts on, is there anything going on in crypto worth noting?
Well, look, I think there's going to be, I don't think all these projects are going to fail. Question is, which ones are going to survive? I don't know. I'm not interested in buying a utility story. I'm interested in buying a story right now. See, I don't want to pay for Ethereum's future value. I want to pay for Bitcoin's present value. Bitcoin doesn't. Yeah, dude. When I buy NVIDIA and Palantir, I am buying the future. The price of stock is literally thinking in the future. If they do this, this stock is worth this today. Bitcoin is priced at $2 trillion today and zero value for tomorrow, almost as if it's not going to exist. Okay, like that's really hard for me. I think it's completely ass backwards. You can find markets where everyone is wrong. Everybody's wrong. And I think everybody's wrong here. Okay. The multipliers and all the metrics that go into determining whether a stock or a commodity is valued correctly by Wall Street, I think they're all fucked up numbers. I don't think any of them mean anything. GDP, CPI, PPI, the interest rate alone, the FX rates, they are all jiggled with. And metrics that are jiggled with are not real metrics. They're jiggled metrics.
Do you think
you like my proper technical terminology?
Definitely. That's why we have you on, Gary. You keep it real. Some people like Wall Street, Bitcoin is being seen as digital gold. People don't think it's like a scam anymore. But, just generally speaking, not everybody's interested in investing in gold. I mean, gold has been a great investment, but just some people like dividends. Some people like growth stocks. Maybe Ethereum, Solana, or whatever it is will be valued in that way because not everybody wants to buy digital gold, even if they're dumb.
Yeah. And look, people get to, it's surprising to me the amount of money going into some of the alts from monsters. They must know something I don't know. The cool thing is, I have one thesis is if I don't understand something, I do not get involved with it. Okay. That goes with women too. Okay. If I don't, any human being, but you know what I'm saying? If I don't understand something, I'm probably not going to slave into it for millions and millions of dollars. In fact, I shouldn't even take a poke at it. So I don't understand what Ethereum's role is going to be. It may be the freaking ledger of the future, and I may have missed a great opportunity, but if it's the ledger of the future, dude, my 86% holdings in Bitcoin is going to be worth a shitload of money. So I don't have to win every battle. And in fact, I don't even have to win and get the highest return. I need the safest return for the allocation that I've given, which is, close to being a little heavy, right? I mean, it's not a position for the weak of heart if you can't handle $20,000 candles. Those don't bother me at all. I mean, people have worked around me and they're like, God damn, dude, price dropped 10 grand and you're just buying like a freaking freak show. Yes, because I have a policy that says anytime there's a 20% drop, I buy Bitcoin hard. look, it's an investment thesis. Okay. I've done this my whole life since I was 26, and I will be right here. Like, I have zero worry. It's literally about now time, and no one can do anything to me like that. That's awesome, right? No one can block my play. And I still think we have another year of front running.
Well,
Wait,
let me
wait,
ask
wait,
you about this.
180, bro, and see what it feels like at 180.
Let me ask you about this. I totally understand what you're saying. Bitcoin versus the altcoin market. From a risk reward point of view, Bitcoin is the asymmetrical opportunity. It's no question. That's kind of being played out in the market as well. And you brought up the price 180. Obviously, I think that you think Bitcoin's going to $1 million sometime in the mid to far future. But what about the next 12 months? What about the rest of this year to, maybe 2026? What is your base, bear, and bull case for Bitcoin?
Man, you always put me on the spot here. But 1 year, June next year. Look, I think end of the year we're going to see 150 plus. I agree with you that like at this level, I don't personally, I don't see us seeing below 100 for a while. I think there's a lot of people trying to buy below 100, some of these families, and they're going to be a little hard-headed. They don't want to be dumb, but they could most certainly make a mistake here by trying to get clever buying 98, and then they see this thing go to 101 and it just spanks to 115. If it does that, it needs to do that at some point. I think we go straight to 125. That could happen autumnish, early, late summer. Look, if we have Iran things settled, dude, I would expect Bitcoin to go up. End of the year, I mean, I think we're going to have volatility, man. I think it would very much surprise me if we didn't see 200 grand, that's a $4 trillion industry. Look, $3 trillion, I think that's right. So 160, 170, Bitcoin gets to 3 trillion, gets to that level of Google, Nvidia. And that's the way I think about it. I think that's the way it would be good for everyone to think about it. How big is it relative to other companies or industries? Not the coin itself. It's hard to understand because look, once we switch to Satoshis, if we pitched this as Satoshis and you said, hey, I just bought 30,000 Satoshis, you'd be like, hey, I'm doing great. Okay, that's what people should be doing right now. I'm buying Satoshis. I think people have lost the frame of what we're doing. The Satoshis are there for a reason, man. Okay, they're going to be priced at a penny one day. Half a penny, a penny. Once that happens, this is about a math issue for human beings. I think if the calculus was really easy for them, we'd already be trading a shitload of Satoshis. I don't know why people look at they have to buy one whole Bitcoin. They don't buy the whole plane when they get on a Southwest Airlines ticket. They don't buy a whole hotel when they rent, one hotel room at the Four Seasons or wherever they go. So why do you have to have one whole Bitcoin? I don't really get it.
Gary, I appreciate you coming on today, guys. Make sure you follow Gary on his social medias, linked below. He's constantly putting out great Bitcoin and financial content. My final question, Gary, is having nothing to do with price. How do you see this space evolving over the next couple of years?
It's gonna really mutate to Wall Street, man. I've been saying that a long time. You're gonna have to get comfortable with Wall Street. If you're uncomfortable with Wall Street, like I'm really comfortable. I like having Bitcoin and legacy. I get to arbitrage against margin calls and 24-hour desk and no 24-hour desk. If you're scared of Wall Street, it just means I think you don't understand something about Wall Street. It never scares me. I need to understand what I'm dealing with. No one's stolen money from me, knock on wood. This is your game to play now. I mean, Bitcoin gives you a sword in a battle where you don't have to worry about how big, King Kong is. You do not have to get hurt here. Okay. Like you can literally do well by just easing in with everyone, and not trying to fight the system and not trying to be clever. My prediction is you're going to have a lot of people that have been around Bitcoin for a long time. They're going to really hate themselves, man, because they weren't disciplined. It's going to be sad to watch.
Interesting. Interesting
Yeah.
perspective.
Good warning. Good warning for anybody that's been around for a while.
Totally. Hey, Gary, thank you so much, man.
Thank you,
Um,
sir.
Always a pleasure having you on Altcoin Daily. See you soon.
Thank you. Ciao.